I'm Michelle Tuzzi. We begin with an Eyewitness News exclusive involving allegations of sexual abuse against a longtime track coach and former Olympian. Conrad Mainwaring is accused of molesting dozens of young men over a span of 4 decades, including athletes at Caltech and UCLA. Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes sat down with one of the accusers who is now speaking out.
Conrad Mainwaring's athleticism helped him become an Olympic athlete. It also gave him access to scores of young boys who would hope to follow in his footsteps. But today, Mainwaring stands accused of being a serial sex abuser. Those young boys, now grown men, coming forward with their stories.
I couldn't outrun him, I couldn't get around him, he was bigger than me, and I couldn't scream for help.
John Shapiro wasn't even 10 years old when he first met Mainwaring. It was at a Massachusetts sports summer camp called Camp Greylock. Mainwaring, who ran in the 1976 Olympics for Antigua, worked as a coach at the camp. Shapiro went every summer until he was 14.
That was the first time when the actual molestations had started.
A few years later, Mainwaring was hired at Syracuse University. Shapiro, an elite high school athlete, trained with him there as well, and says the abuse continued.
He would play all these mental games on me and break me down mentally, like serious mental games, where he would just torture me mentally until I gave in.
Those alleged assaults happened more than 30 years ago, but Shapiro says they created a string of problems in his life and still haunt him today.
It's years of anguish and turmoil. I would have recurring nightmares. My wife would wake me up, I'd be screaming at the top of my lungs. I'd battle with addictions, I'd battle with depression.
Shapiro is not alone in his accusations against Mainwaring.
All of a sudden, he started to stroke my forearm, and I yanked it away.
An investigative report by ESPN found more than 40 men who say the former Olympian molested them when they were boys or college athletes, including cases at Caltech and UCLA. ESPN tracked him down still coaching young athletes in South LA.
Mr. Mainwaring, my name is Mark Fainaru-Wada. I'm a reporter at ESPN.
Last month, Mainwaring was arraigned for sexual battery in Los Angeles. Meantime, Shapiro has just filed a lawsuit against Camp Greylock and Syracuse University. A spokesperson for Syracuse University says the school first learned of the allegations against Mainwaring last year. Quote, "We immediately contacted federal and local law enforcement and initiated an independent review of Mr. Mainwaring's time on campus. Based on that exhaustive review, we have been unable to locate or identify any individual who reported the alleged conduct to university officials when it occurred." And an attorney for Camp Greylock says the current owners of the camp never had any affiliation with Mainwaring. Shapiro is just hoping to encourage others to come forward.
There's a lot of other cases out there, and the more people see this, the more they'll come forward.
In Santa Monica, Rob Hayes, ABC7 Eyewitness News.